Hello there, my name is Logan, but you can call me Copycat99. And you've seen the thumbnail. This past weekend there was a Planetary Qualifier. I did a thing. I finally took one down at Edmond Unplugged in Edmond. It was a store pretty local to me, which was sweet. Only had to drive like 30 minutes to get there, which was awesome. And yeah, we took down the whole tournament on... I'll show you the deck choice in a second and some of the thought process behind it. Yeah, super hyped. Finally got my bye, joined the big leagues. So yeah, let's get into it. So my expected meta is Kira Data Vault, Ray Data Vault, and Vader 4 Yellow as the most represented decks. Kira and Ray are just really strong late game grindy decks that utilize Data Vault to be able to still fight aggro, but have that top end that lets them go really long. And Vader 4 Yellow is just a really strong space aggro deck that is cheap, it's really easy to build, and it's really easy to pilot. So I expect people to flock to that after its previous success. So those were the decks I expected to see. And yeah, the meta in Dallas is more tempo mid-range. It's not as much control as in Edmond. It's not as much control as Dallas. It's more mid-rangey. So just playing a mid-range deck and being able to win those mid-range mirrors was my main consideration for this tournament. And I still expected Data Vault to be king, to be everywhere. So I love Hantu Data Vault into all these Data Vault mid-range mirrors, you know, being able to timely crates if the game goes long or whatever. Really gives you an edge, I've found. So here's the deck. As you'll see, it's very similar to the deck list I brought to the Dallas PQ, because the deck was performing well for me the whole set, so I thought I'd ride her out and run her at this tournament. I think the primary difference is I was on Recons at Dallas, and I'm now on Gorilla Attack Pods. Recon's still really good, but Gorilla Attack Pod is kind of nuts in Hantu. Just being able to enter play ready as a 6-power attacker, like they super laser blast you, and you're like, okay, I haunt in Gorilla Attack Pod and smuggle a Cassian and hit you for 9. It's just pretty exceptional. Yeah, I don't really like finding room for that 9th 6-drop, so I decided on Gorilla Attack Pods over Recons. Gorilla Attack Pod was great all weekend, or all tournament. So I definitely consider Gorilla Attack Pods in the list. And the other primary one, I think, is I move Confiscates to the board. So that was primarily meta choice. Here, let's see. Can I actually show you what I did? So let's see. So this is the Garbage Rollers website. They're another content creator for Star Wars Unlimited. And they keep, let's see if we can make this pretty full screened. They keep a, throughout the set as tournaments are played, they keep a pretty updated meta snapshot of decks that you can expect to see in a potential tournament. So I went down this list and I thought about what decks do I need Confiscate in the main for. So starting with Sabine ECL, it is nice if they are on Darksaber. It is nice if they're still maining the Chewbacca's, but I saw some Sabines even sideboarding the Chewbacca's. So that makes it a lot worse in the main. It's still pretty good post-board, like they might board in the Chewbacca's or they might board in more Sabers or whatever. But I didn't really feel I needed it main board. And also, you got to remember that Swiss is closed deck list. Like, a lot of Hantu decks traditionally were adapting the Confiscate's main board. So the Sabines might still play around it, even if it's not actually in your main board. So that was kind of a gamble I took. It's still really good against Sabine. If I expected more Sabine, I would have mained it. Vader 4 Yellow. It literally just hits their leader, and usually the game is decided before their leader deploys, or they deploy on the ground. So I did not feel it was very good into Vader 4. I still board it in, because it is a 1-cost Rival's Fall sometimes, but winning that mid game and cutting off a big clone combat, cutting off a big swarm with Victor leader is much more important than answering their leader in my experience. So that is that. So it didn't feel great against Vader in the main, because I'm probably losing game 1 anyway until I bring in the bombing runs. Quinlan Tarkentown, literally just dead. I'm not confiscating a Hotshot Blaster. Like, that's just a really bad proposition for the confiscating player. Han 2 green, or Han 1 green, confiscate's insane against this deck. This deck is... most of the builds I've seen in tournaments have been built around turn 1 Millennium Falcon, either of them, and then turn 2 Pilot. Being able to just snipe that Pilot for 1 resource is insane, but I did not expect a lot of Han 1 green, and there was a couple there, but none performed well, so I didn't even see it. So that was nice for me. Anakin blue, like, it's fine if they're playing Jedi Lightsaber, but usually you just, like, play a Poe and hold their leader hostage, and, like, then their Jedi Lightsabers don't really matter. Another nice thing about this deck in particular is it threatens Poe super early, potentially on 4 resources, and he's just upgrade hate on a stick. That was another reason I felt a bit more comfortable moving the confiscates to the sideboard for Sabine, because if they want a Darksaber, I can just haunt in a Poe, and then they have to kill the Poe with the Sabine Darksaber, and you're not taking it to face, or you just kill the Sabine by discarding a card to kill her Darksaber. So yeah, it doesn't feel great against Anakin Blue, and I haven't seen a lot of Anakin Blue in this format anyway. Ray Data Vault, it basically only hits Entrenched, and all the Ray Data Vault I played was entrenching their own stuff, and I was just, like, completely fine with that proposition. I've got slightly better late game. I think Hantu just barely has the edge as long as you are drawing your fells. So yeah, I didn't feel like the need to confiscate Entrenched was super important. I don't even think I boarded in the 1 Ray Data Vault I played. Cat Tarkentown, again, it's just dead. Don't confiscate Hotshot Blasters, that's bad for you. Mirror, completely dead. Just board it out. I'm not confiscating a Poe that has made an X-Wing. Kira Data Vault. But most of the Kiras are dropping Traitorous because people are mainboarding Confiscate. So it is completely dead. Pretty bad. Palpatine Yellow, again, completely dead except against Traitorous, which if you're playing Traitorous into a meta of main deck upgrade hate, you're just asking to get punished. Bosk Blue, pretty exceptional against Bosk Blue, clearing bounties, clearing Entrenched, but I think my deck is, like, Hantu Data Vault is, like, particularly good into hard control on its own, even without the confiscates, and you do bring them in. Like, you're gonna play 2 or 3 games. Like, you've got time. Hantu Data Vault wins pretty quickly. So, it is fine against Sabine, pretty bad against Vader, dead against Quinlan, okay against Han, or great against Han Green, pretty bad against Anakin, pretty bad against Rey, pretty bad against Cad, dead against Han, dead against Kira, dead against Pow. So there is, so Bosk, Sabine, and Han 1 Green are really the only decks where it is pretty good in the main. So that is 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 out of 11 decks. Like, if I see those 3 decks in the Swiss, I guess I'll just take my maybe game 1 loss because I don't have the confiscates in the main. But, like, if I see the majority of these other decks, which I was expecting to, much more than Bosk Blue, Sabine, ECL, and Han 1 Green, I don't need it main, and I get to board something else strong and powerful, which ended up making room for Reinforcement Walker, which was having trouble. So yeah, that was my thought process behind boarding Confiscate. I hope that's a little bit insightful. So yeah, those were the primary changes between my deck list. Sideboard-wise, Bombing Run has come in because Vader 4 is a menace sometimes, and just being able to potentially kill everything they have in play in the space lane for 5 resources is pretty great. I already discussed the Confiscates. They're still really good. Post-board, like, they hit a lot of things. They're just not necessary to win a lot of game 1s unless you're playing against those 3 decks that I discussed. So they came in quite a bit for the Fells if it was a faster matchup. But And then 3 Scanning Officer, I have got a local player that just is a menace on either Home 1 Green or Home 1 Yellow. They played Home 1 Yellow this tournament. So I always dedicate 3 sideboard slots to Scanning Officer in green decks because I respect that player a lot. They are a great player. They ended up top 4ing. Yes, they made top 4 and then lost to the Quinlan Tarkentown I beat in the finals, which you'll see in a second. But yeah, I respect them a lot, so I dedicate some sideboard space specifically to them. And if I play any other Hans or like gets decent against Quinlan, like it catches other decks in the crossfire. Here is some more things about my deck choice. I still felt it had very favorable matchups into most meta decks. I really don't like the Vader 1 or Vader 4 matchup. It is still really bad, even post-board, where you get Confiscate and Bombing Run. You have to draw 1, maybe 2 Bombing Runs, and you just have to apply a ton of pressure on the ground and hope it's good enough. It's really like the one bad matchup in the field, and I luckily dodged it all day, so I didn't even have to worry about it. Deck is still very capable of being played fast. I was finished with some rounds in 30 minutes or less, you know, like just 2-0ing people 50 minutes and then 50 minutes and like the round's over and I've got 30 minutes to sit and chill and like I don't know, meditate, think about my life, whatever. You feel like that helps you recover off a round, get ready for the next one. Still, like Data Vault's variance is just, it's not really felt with Hantu. Like Data Vault is not a real cost for a lot of decks. It's kind of like, okay, so I get a ton of early game and a ton of late game in my deck, and like I get the same amount of mid game as a normal deck, and I get 3 extra HP, so it ends up just rounding off these numbers on these late game mid range decks better. So it's not real cost for the most part for those decks anyway, and Hantu just makes it like legit. Like you don't even feel the difference really. Like I can play whatever I want on every point of the curve anyway. I've got a high curve because of Hantu's ability. Like I get 3 HP for legitimately free. So yeah, the variance doesn't affect it, so I felt comfortable to continue playing in our tournaments. Obviously, it's the right choice because I ended up winning the tournament. So here is what I played in Swiss. We joked about it, but round 1, I played this great Han 1 player. He'll probably say something in the comments, I assume. He'll watch this. But I got him 2-0 because I'm a great player and cut his Cunnings and Hotshot Blasters to the bottom of his deck. Yeah, this matchup is pretty shaky if you aren't drawing Scanning Officer post board. They're generally faster. Like, they've got the Hotshots and the Surprise Tricks and the Cunnings. Like, you've just got a Delphi patrolling as your only pump because I'm not on Fleet Lieutenant. So it's really hard to race. I did end up racing him in the 2 games because, again, like, he was not drawing the pumps he needed. But generally, you have to play the control in this matchup and, you know, just get him with a really good Scanning Officer, potentially for 1 resources. They play attack and you just obliterate them into the stratosphere. But yeah, it's not good. I just got really lucky. Like, he drew really bad. I told him after the match, I was like, kind of sorry, that was unfortunate. I purged your bad luck for the rest of the tournament. Like, you're gonna make a run, you're gonna get through Swiss, I'm gonna be your only loss, and I was his only loss, and then he got into top cut, and like I said, he lost to the Quinlan I beat in the finals, which was unfortunate, but a really great player. Round 2, 2-1 Quinlan Tarkentown. So I feel like I think I've got the Quinlan Tarkentown matchup pretty much down now, because the 1 game I lost, I played the control. I played Mon Mothma into Han and Bright Hope, bounced the Mon Mothma, draw a card. And I had no pressure. And he just swarmed me and outraced me. And then game 2 and game 3, I played aggressively. I played Cassian turn 1. I played, I can't remember what it was turn 2 generally, but maybe it was Poe. It might have been Poe's. Like, Poe's in space is a 4-5. And then turn 3 Poe's. And like, I got to a point where I was playing a Delphi Patrolwings and Hammerheads. And that is how you really get Quinlan. Quinlan really struggles to answer a 4-cost 4/4 and a 5-cost 5/5 in space. These are just giant space beaters. And you kind of just hit them in the air. And it's like, I have to play a Falcon and then play either Han Pilot or a Pump, and not even a lot of Quinlans are on Han Pilot. To even trade, like, Han Pilot obviously doesn't trade, but again, that's a non-standard tech that my finalist opponent was playing, and it got me pretty good. I might have still won that game. But, so yeah, the game 2 and game 3, I just played the aggro, played some giant space speeders, and just got there faster because I have an 8 HP gap. Round 3, I 2-0'd a Boba 4 Data Vault. Not much to say about this matchup. It's just really bad for Boba. Your units are just bigger, and they have higher attack than their units, so you can just soak the indirect on base. You'll win the race. You have a really heavy ground presence, and they have a really heavy space presence, so their units don't match up well into yours. And yeah, Boba Flip, like, some games I was cutting him completely off his space target with Adelphis and Hammerheads, so he was forced to deploy on the ground, and he didn't even get a kill. Post-board, when they do even get to deploy in space, I just confiscate them. Like, it's just awful for Boba. It's not great for them. Round 4, I lost 1-2 to Luke 4 Red. Yes, Luke, Pilot Luke from Jump to Lightspeed with a 30 HP red base. This is a great local player. We play all the time. Like, we were laughing as we played the matchup because we were like, this is like the 30th time we've played Hantu Data Vault into Luke Red. We play it all the time at one of our local game stores. And of course, and generally I feel favored in this matchup. Before he was on Tarkin Town, which made it easier, even though we got the free Tarkin Town value, just 25 HP is really easy to race down. But with the 30 HP, it shifted a little bit. I still felt pretty good in the matchup, but unfortunately, when we played when it mattered, I lost. You got me 2-1. I got... What was it? I think I won the second game. Yeah, first and third game, he just, like... He killed my important stuff. I think he had kills for my early Poe. Like, game 3, he aggressioned it. Deal 4 and draw... Or, no, deal 4 and ready. And I just, like, lost. Like, that game was over right then. Game 2, I just drew, like, insane space. I drew Blue Leader, which got a 2-for-1. I drew... I think I drew a Turn 1 space unit also in that game. And I just ran away from the game with there. I controlled his space. He barely got any pings off of Luke. The spicy thing he was running was Armed to the Teeth. Like, I think it was game 1. I kill his first Poe, and then he develops a second Poe and a Bo-Katan. And I'm just, like, controlling space. I'm not going to let him deploy in space. And then he puts Armed to the Teeth on Poe, and now the Poe attacks for 10, and then buffs his Bo-Katan to attack for 5, and then he attacks for 5, and then you can flip Luke and attack for 5. So I just got, like, ran over. Like, I can't answer all these big units. I wasn't drawing Fells for the Poe. So, like, he just, like, slaughtered me that game, too. So, yeah, I don't think the matchup is too particularly bad, but the Luke Leader can be pretty scary. You can't confiscate him. You can't Poe attack him. And they have the same red aggro tools as you do, and when they're on the red 30 HP base, it's a lot lower of a gap that they have to close HP-wise. So, yeah, this matchup is a lot more difficult than it looks at first glance, and obviously you got the 2-1 over me, which was neat. Wasn't expecting to lose that, but it happened. Round 5, 2-1 over Han 4 Tarkin Town. This matchup is really easy. Like, the games I was winning, I was just killing every space unit he played, and I was just, like, developing a ton of bodies and playing Poes and stuff. The one game he beat me, he went double Wolfpack Escort into Dagger Squadron Pilot, Han Pilot, and hit the Han ability on turn 2 to make the one-drop hit for one of the Wolfpacks hit for an extra damage. And it's like, I have, like, 10 damage on my base on turn 2. And you've got 2 giant space units. So he just, like, drew the nuts. I mean, that's why you play Han 4. Sometimes you draw like that and you just run people over. The other games, yeah, like I said, I just controlled the space. I just played Hammerheads, which were killing, like, 3 space units on their own. I was playing Adelphis, which were letting me apply pressure and develop a space body. All these things, like, you know, again, you can outrace an HP gap. Like, Tarkin Town... I'm getting less and less annoyed by Tarkin Town the more I play this deck. I'm just like, okay, Tarkin Town my turn 1 play. And now have turn 2 Poe, turn 3 Poe, turn 4 Adelphi, like, just take a bajillion damage. You're gonna die before I do because of the 8 HP gap. But yeah, that was pretty easy. And then round 7, 2-1 Radiative Vault. Like I said, I don't feel confident in the Radiative Vault matchup because they have better removal than you do. Their Fells costing 4 instead of 6 is really good for them. But your late game is slightly favored. They have home ones and Lukes. You have Mace and home ones. And I'm maining Reinforcement Walkers and Crates. So I have a significant more bulk than the traditional Radiative Vault lists have in the late game. So that is good. The game I lost, game 2, it was game 2, he boarded in Choose Sides. And he just got me in a position where he, U-winged into Moisture Farmer and Cargo Juggernaut and healed 4, which is pretty sweet. Was not expecting that. And then he Choose Sides to trade his Moisture Farmer for my Reinforcement Walker. And now he's got a 4-6 shielded and a 6-7 I haunted in, I think. That heals him. I had already put on a ton of pressure in space, but it wasn't enough because he stole my Reinforcement Walker and started healing it back. So that was just really awkward. Just got by the random Choose Sides. But the other 2 games, we just traded punches back and forth, and I just, I drew more top than he did. I just outgrinded him. We got there. And that was pretty much it. That was Swiss. 6-1-0 overall. I hope I did that right. 6 wins, 1 loss, 0 draws. Because I lost to this Luke 4 red, so I couldn't draw into Top Cut. But unlike the last tournament, my breakers were amazing, and I head into Top Cut as the 1 seed. Now, going from losing to this Luke 4 red and being am I even going to top? I have to win the next 2 for sure to make it, probably. I don't think my round 7 or round 6 opponent is going to be able to draw. Going from that to the 1 seed, it was such a relief. It felt amazing, man. The last couple tournaments, I bubbled out of Dallas. I was the 9th seed at the end of Swiss, which sucked. I top 4'd Wichita in Sat 3, and then lost to a Sabine ECL because my draws were terrible. I was on Monohan at that point. Monohan 1. And then, the tournament before that, again, I think I just missed Top Cut by, breakers. I think I was, X1 and... Not X1. I was X2, and I just didn't have good enough breakers to slip in. But, yeah, this tournament, I slip in as the 1 seed, so we head into Top Cut. Top 8, 2-0 well before Data Vault. Same one to Swiss. Like I said, matchup's really easy. Your units are just bigger. Top 4, 2-1 Han 2 Blue. This matchup is pretty difficult. I don't like this matchup. What I found to work in this matchup is just playing heavy space. Other than Entrenched, they don't have great space answers. They can play Phantom, but Phantom's really weak to Red 5, and you want to develop Red 5 in the mirror anyway. And Hantu mirror in particular. So, the game I lost, I think I think I went to space, and he just developed a better ground presence than my space presence. I just didn't get a nutty enough space unit presence. Because I think he went, Sabine into K2, into Poe, into Wrecker. And he just had so much power on the ground that I just lost the race. The other games I won, game 1 was just a traditional space presence. I think I played the first Poe in that game, and it just... It applies a ton of pressure. Really, I find the matchup really goes down to whoever plays more Poes. Whoever sticks a Poe and is just threatening 8 every turn. Because it's traditionally a race. It's not... The way my opponent's Hantu blue deck was built, it really wasn't... it can't outgrind Hantu green. So yeah, we were just racing. We were smacking each other in the face. In game 3, I draw the literal nuts of turn 1 Red 5 on the play. Turn 2, Han and Poe, put Poe in the Red 5, make an X-Wing. So my Red 5 is now it's a 5, I think it's a 5-7 with 2 damage on it. Yeah, 5-7 with 2 damage on it. So it's a 5-5. And my opponent is sitting there with an open fire in hand that can't deal 5. And I just snowball from there. Like, it's hitting for 5. It's got 5 health. It's slowly killing his board because Hantu is putting damage on their units. Like, that just, like, that obliterated him. That third game was pretty fast. But yeah, and then the finals, 2-1 Quinlan Tarkentown. Game 1, he thrashed me, bro. No, was it game 2? I think it was game 2. Game 2, he thrashed me. Game 1, I just drew pretty good, aggroed him down. Game 2, he leads Grogu, and a turn 2 Spark Force Throw. So, he sparks my play on 3 resources, and then he throws, what was it? I think it was Reinforcement Walker, and kills my turn 1 play. So I have 1 card in hand and no board, and he has a Grogu. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. And my top decks were not very good. And then he continues to have Plo Koon for my leader on curve, and it was like Fel. I think he was playing Fel the Dragon for 6. Yeah, he definitely was playing Fel the Dragon for 6, and he like killed a Poe or something. And it's just like, no, it was a home one. He killed my first home one, which was my chance of getting back in the game with a Fel out of aspect. And yeah, I just got thrashed. Like, he just built a board. Like, he ripped apart my hand. He drew the best cards in the deck, Force Throw and Plo Koon. And game 3, dude, this game was down to the wire. We were just smacking each other in the face. He was drawing pumps. I was drawing Adelphis. So it was a really close race. And it comes down to this last action phase where we both have 2 units in play. I have a red 5 and some other... and I think it's an Adelphi patrolling. So I have 7 power and space. It'll take me 2 attacks to kill him. He has 2 units in play. I can't remember exactly what they are. But 1 Hotshot Blaster is lethal for him. Like, he kills me if he has a Hotshot Blaster. And the other thing is, he is playing out of aspect Cunning. He's playing Cunning for 6. So if he has a Cunning, he can exhaust my units and buff. Thankfully, I'm on the play. So I sit there and I have to think about it for quite a while. I take a good minute thinking about this. Because my options are, I have a home 1 in hand and an Echo-based Defender in the discard pile. If I play that and res Echo-based Defender, he has to attack over it with one of his units. They will trade. And then I can attack with one of my space units and heal 1. And this heal 1 puts me out of range of dying to Blaster, which is crazy. But the problem is, if I commit a home 1 into Echo-based Defender line, he can Cunning and bounce the Echo-based Defender and pump. And then I die, because I need 2 attacks to kill him. So, another card in my hand is Fel the Dragon. If he commits to a Cunning line, I can Fel the Dragon the unit he Cunnings, and then claim and kill him. So, I sit there and deliberate for quite a while. I ask for his discard pile, and since it is open list, I see he has 1 Hotshot Blaster in his discard pile and 2 Surprise Strikes in his discard pile. And he is only on 2 Hotshot, 2 Surprise Strike in his list. So, I end up making the call. I'm like, if you've got this second Hotshot Blaster in a row, you got me, man. Like, I'm not going to play around it. I'm going to play around the potential 3 Cunning that I've seen 0 of. So, I attack for 4 with the Adelphi patrolling, and then I get there. Like, he doesn't have the Blaster. He has things that don't matter in his hand. And he doesn't even have the Cunning. So I just get to attack with my space unit after he attacks me, and I win the game. But yeah, that is really difficult. It was such a difficult scenario. Like, the whole room was holding their breath. It was such a tight finals. It would have been great to get it on camera because we both played amazing for tournament fatigued people after 6 rounds of Swiss and 2 rounds of Top Cut. But it was amazing. My opponent was great. I really liked his list. It was really spicy. The out of aspect Cunning was not something people expected, and it was working for him all day. So, yeah, that was my tournament experience at the Edmond PQ. I got a conclusion slide I got to go over. Deck still felt amazing, and I felt confident in almost every matchup I sat down to. Yep, absolutely. Data vault numbers were smaller in Dallas, but still very present. Meta was very healthy. There was a lot of varied deck representation. I think Top Cut only had one duplicate deck in it. It was Hanju Datavolt, which was great. Super hype, man. I finally got my PQ win. You know, I had to wait till the last second last weekend of PQs before Galactics during my day one buy, but we got there, man. Feels amazing. All right, I believe that's the last slide. All right, thank you for watching. That was my tournament experience at the Planetary Qualifier in Edmond. Finally got a PQ, man. Feels amazing. I'll wrap this up. I think that's all I've got for this video. I will see you in the next one.